Jazz age living, old fashioned sipping, pizzazz ain't missing, got the fat cats kissing. Let's bring the old age back. Awake everyone from his nap, we bringing the old
Welcome to Sunday Punch Podcast, episode 21. The notorious Christopher Hallway has joined us as we referred to him in the past. Me and Chris met as soon as I moved to Chicago and then lived together. But Chris, why don't you give us a little brief background about yourself? And if that includes me, then, well, I'll be flattered.
So brief background, I'm from Ohio, Canton, if anyone knows where Canton is, but I usually just tell people Cleveland. Moved here to Chicago for residency. That's where I met Sean. We did our intern years together. And then, shortly later that year is when Adam kind of peeped his head into Chicago. Kind of no one liked him right away. And then he kind of
away
weaseled his way into some friend groups, and here we are today. But we did live together for 3 years, so I got duped.
Yeah, and that was now thinking back on that, it was a wild. I got lucky to meet everyone, and now that I'm at a
don't we all? Like, what if anyone?
No, I'm luckier. No, I'm luckier for sure. And but we all met. It was like the perfect time to all meet, and
I agree.
And now that I'm chilling with Sean here doing a podcast, have you here? It's kind of
wild.
It's kind of wild. Okay, so Chris is visiting Chicago. Had a couple weeks off. Some good news, if you want to announce it here, about your next
Tell the world,
job.
Chris. Tell the world.
So basically, I don't live here anymore. Lived in Chicago 4 years. Now I'm living in Pittsburgh doing a fellowship year. The good news is signed for a big boy job next year in Ohio. So that contract is pretty much done. Going to go back to Ohio.
Coming home.
Coming home. little foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Yes, this will be the LeBron episode, but once that starts, then it's going.
Yeah, that's gonna be an all or nothing. We gotta time that well.
Listen, for all the Chicago people that hate me, I like LeBron, I like the Cavs. I am wearing the Bulls hat.
Dude,
you got a Bulls
there's
hat.
a couple 16-year-olds that are fuming right now that I brought you on. But okay, so you're from Cleveland. Who's your favorite NFL team?
Favorite NFL
Is it the Browns?
team? So actually, good choice. I actually would say so. I rooted for the Browns this year against the Steelers in the playoffs. So interesting, right? I grew up, I was a big Steelers fan growing up because Browns weren't around as I started watching football. Art Modell, the devil himself, had moved him to Baltimore. Got Adam his Ravens.
Yeah.
So,
Well, now Bears. I've completely converted. Dude.
Yeah.
I've completely converted.
Well, Lamar does that to you. So, growing up, no Browns around, being from Canton, Pittsburgh's only about an hour and a half away. So, Steelers, I grew up watching the Steelers, like the Steelers a lot. Obviously, Browns come back. They're not very good. So, they're really not competing for anything. So, I was a big Steelers fan. Now, I am obviously a huge Cleveland fan. I love the Cavs, love the Indians, big Ohio State fan. Now that the Browns are getting good, I have this dilemma on my hands, now because it's weird, they're in the same division. Like I always grew up, my mom's from Chicago, so I grew up a big Cubs fan as well. So I would root for the Cubs, I'd root for the Indians, it's easy, they're in different leagues. But now that the Steelers and Browns are in the same league, division, it's hard.
Yeah, to pick.
So I never had that problem. Now I found myself this year like, okay, we'll see, regular season, whoever wins, but... And then when they played in the playoffs this year, I actually was rooting for the Browns.
Really?
Yeah.
So a complete shift of maybe one of the best Steelers games. What's one of the best? What's the best Steelers game you remember? And why is it when Tommy Maddox had the comeback?
Tommy Maddox, I remember that very vividly because
who's the Browns quarterback? This will prove your Browns fandom.
Kelly Holcomb.
Yes.
Kelly Holcomb.
It wasn't Slash.
No. Kelly Holcomb versus Tommy the Mad Ox. That's what my dad used to call him.
The Mad Ox. That's genius.
And I remember that very vividly because, like I said, that was when I was younger and I was in my rebellious little I don't know what we were 7th grade or whatever it was, 6th grade, and
yeah, that was around because I remember at that point in time.
2006.
at that point in time, that's when my quarterback expertise was really budding, because
All-time high.
I remember going and I was
This is before Jamarcus Russell was taken.
no, that's what I'm referring to, because and then in 6th or 7th grade when that happened, I remember specifically. And I think this was Travis. I remember talking to Travis and being like, dude, Kelly Holcomb's good, dude. Kelly Holcomb's good.
All time.
Yeah, dude. The Browns are going to be dangerous next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kelly Holcomb was not good. Not good. But is that your favorite or no?
My favorite. What was
Steelers.
the
The question
Steelers
was
win.
Yeah, Steelers
my
win.
favorite Steelers win was when they beat the Cardinals in the Super Bowl and Ben hit that Santonio Holmes corner pass.
Oh yeah, that was
incredible.
Amazing.
The toe touch.
And then James
I hate
Harrison
the
had
Steelers,
the
but that was dope.
99-yard interception return before halftime. That was a
Yes.
good game. I like that game because Larry Fitzgerald had just taken it down the field too. That was a good game. That, I think,
where
is my all-time.
where was that Super Bowl? It was an
Where was
indoor
it?
one, right?
It was indoor.
Can't
Don't know
remember.
where it was,
Look
though.
it up. That was a great Super Bowl.
Very
because
good.
it was like back and forth, like the entire time.
Yeah.
And if they didn't like really try and go for it before the half, the Cardinals would have won the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Isn't that crazy?
Like if the Cardinals would have just kneeled
Todd Haley was the
or kicked the
Cardinals guy
field
then.
goal because they were at the 2-yard line.
Yeah. Family friend Todd Haley was on that Cardinals coaching staff.
Yes, he was.
So where was it?
February 1st, 2009. It was in Tampa Bay, Raymond James
Tampa
Stadium.
Bay,
James.
dude.
MVP of the game.
Wow, that's a nice circle. Yeah.
Santonio Holmes.
Santonio Holmes. Yep, had to be. Had to be.
I liked him as a
Halftime show?
receiver. He always did that. with the
Halftime
first down.
show.
Ooh.
I'll give you a hint. He was also popular this year with halftime show commercials.
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey did the Super Bowl halftime show. Wait a second. Give me a second.
He did not. This gentleman did not perform this year, but he had a come together moment. America.
Okay. Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen,
Got
the
it.
street band.
Got
Yep.
it. Got
Halftime
it.
show, 2009.
Okay.
I don't remember that at all.
Now he's doing Jeep commercials.
When was the
Yeah.
Janet Jackson halftime show?
Yeah, when
That was my
was-
favorite.
Yeah, that was similar. That was
Yeah.
6th or 5th grade too.
Yeah. I remember that was very shocking. Was that the Super Bowl Steelers Seahawks?
That was 2004 in Houston, Texas.
And who was playing that game?
Steelers Seahawks?
That would have been. Let's see. I don't remember that. Let me take a look.
I remember watching that at my buddy Joey Warman's house, and we were both up.
Yeah, we were in 8th
watching
grade.
it. Yeah, and when that happened, it was so brief, and they went to commercial immediately.
So fast.
But we both looked at each other like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Same
Dude,
thing.
but we didn't have like TiVo back then.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, did that happen or what? I mean,
Or does
we're in
my
8th
brain
grade.
just want that to happen?
Yeah, we're in 8th grade. Everything looks like a movie.
Tight game. Carolina Panthers lost to the New England Patriots.
That was a
Panthers Patriots.
great
29,
Also a
32.
good Super Bowl.
Great game. Great game. Okay. So covered that. Now you're transferring.
Transferring, sorry.
But
Yeah,
you still
so
have a little love for the Steelers?
I still like, yeah. So my thing was, whoever won that game, even though I was rooting for the Browns, if the Steelers would have beat the Browns, I would have rooted for the Steelers the rest of the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice way to.
Yeah.
But the remnant of the past is Ben Roethlisberger, and they
Yes.
just signed him again.
They did.
And what were your thoughts on
For that,
a
I
little bit of a noodle arm?
I think for them though, that was the best they could do. They're tight on cap,
Really?
so you can't go out and get a Deshaun Watson who's available. So you're stuck.
Russell Wilson can't get him.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, no.
Yeah.
God, no on Cam Newton anyway.
Derek Carr.
Cam Newton re-signed with Patriots too, right?
1 year, 14 mil.
That's just silly.
1 year, 14 mil.
That's just
He
silly.
just did you see his newest video?
It's a lot of hats to buy.
Oh, dude, put it up. Just look it up. It's a typical Cam Newton video, but I don't even know what to call it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you have. I sent it to you on Instagram.
Oh, it was that video. I thought you
Cam
meant like one that
Newton's
came out like
working
since his-
out. Cam Newton's working out and has his entire just put in Cam Newton workout. Anyways, he's not gonna find it because it's like so I guess obscure. I would just put in Cam Newton workout and go to his channel, and it's one of the newer ones.
I'll pull it up. You guys keep going.
But I'm gonna because I still think it's gonna be hard to find. But basically, it's Cam Newton working out, black and white. I'm gonna set the scene. You don't need the video. Cam Newton working out, black and white. 5 videographers around.
God.
He's doing his tricep pull downs, and he looks at the camera and says, "Funny thing is, I never needed your validation." Does a couple reps, and he says, "All I know is I can keep fucking working." The funny thing about that video is he doesn't need your validation, as he has 5 people filming him.
Right.
Then after the clip, he's like, "Dude, go clip that and put it on YouTube and then promote it."
That's what he says?
No, that's
the
what
thought
happened.
process.
That's what happened. That's
The
what
thought
happened.
process.
But he doesn't need our validation.
Yeah, I don't need your
Oh, my
validation.
God. He was talking to this podcast. He was talking to 3 of us.
Oh.
I don't need y'all Sunday Punch.
But also, do you know how
validation.
many hats 14 million can buy you?
He's getting low
lot
on
of
hats.
That's well, it's
And
not
bandanas.
guaranteed. I bet you like 5 million of that's guaranteed.
I'm looking up his deal.
Yeah, look up his
deal.
deal.
Look it up.
Look up his deal. God, that's disappointing. Well,
I really thought they were going to just shed him. I wanted them to.
I thought they're gonna get Jimmy G. They still might. That's sad though, because I used to like Cam Newton. Then he obviously got a little bit too diva. But I used to like him a lot.
Yeah, I mean he does have a lot of arm problems now, right? He got hurt, and he can still run him. He scored a lot of rushing touchdowns for the Patriots this year, but throwing wise, he didn't look great throwing the ball this year.
No, it's just not there, right? And I guess he always had a kind of a weird mechanic.
And to tell you the truth, to circle back to the Steelers.
To be honest, he was never a big completion percentage guy.
But to circle back to the Steelers, right? Ben Roethlisberger, yeah, he's obviously doesn't have the arm strength he had, but he had one of his better years of his career this year. Touchdown wise, completion percentage wise.
Wasn't that heavily in the first part of the season though?
Probably, they kind of went off a little bit towards the end, but I mean, they've got a lot of good young receivers in Pittsburgh. They threw a lot of short passes for him. Got his completion up.
Yeah, it turns out, did you know Juju Smith-Schuster, I thought was like 31. He's like 24.
No, he's super young.
He's only been in the league for 4
super
years.
young. Well,
he just seems so toast to me, like Dunzo.
Yeah, he was making this whole scene about when AB left, about how you don't need to worry about AB. Like, I'm the second coming. It's all going to be fine. And I don't know we've really seen that pan out, although his confidence certainly is up there.
He's a short possession wide receiver.
Yeah,
right?
he's a good slot guy. He's a slot guy.
He's not a number one.
I don't feel like he's a big, like, the guy you need on...
Number one on TikTok.
Is
Number
he?
one on TikTok.
Corvette.
I do think, he also, his first year without Antonio Brown is the year Ben got hurt, and it was
Okay,
Mason
Kristen.
Rudolph all year.
Right.
Yeah, let me get a little top off. And then this past year, they got a lot of young wide receivers, so he, had some games that was really good, but then he had some other games where someone else was really good, so he didn't get much. So
And he's the guy doubled. He's the guy the safety spying on every time. It's...
yeah, they want to hit him because they're
Corvette.
Corvettes.
Well, so before
wanna-
the Bengals, I don't know if you know this, Sean, but before the Bengals game, so the thing with, well, I want to get your thoughts on
They want to knock the Corvette out of him.
receiver. I want to get your thought about receivers doing that, because there's kind of like, receivers are divas, but during that whole run when the Steelers were like 10-0, he was like doing TikTok videos. And so when you're winning, it's like, okay, whatever. But you could tell like there's a bunch of people like, I can't wait for this motherfucker to lose. Because as soon as he started losing, right, then people were like, jumping on.
All
like,
the hate came out.
Oh yeah, great. Why don't you go make a TikTok video
All the
about
hate
this?
came out.
All the hate came out. And then he kept doing it, because then in his mind, he's like, well, I can't stop doing it, because then
Then it would appear as if...
then I appear like I'm giving in to the mob.
Right.
But then after he went out and he danced on the Bengals logo doing the Corvette. Dude, he got rocked by the free safety of the Bengals.
Yeah, Von Bell. Ohio State guy.
And then Joe Mixon, who's injured and not even
Who
at
was
the
on the
game,
sideline.
not even at the game, the running back for the Bengals, then takes an Instagram of himself just rolling around listening to Corvette.
and posts immediately.
And posted it immediately. What are your thoughts on Juju?
My thoughts on Juju is I think him and Chase did it a little too much, but they're young, they're having fun if that's what they want to do. But, it does put a target on you. It makes teams play. It's like, you always have coaches say, or NBA players, like, well, you want to avoid the bulletin board material, right?
Sure.
You don't want to you're already playing a professional athletic game. You don't want to give them any other reason to try to beat you harder than they already want to win.
And
right?
you think that exists?
I think that exists.
Really?
I do.
Grown professional men getting
Grown
paid
professional
millions of
men.
dollars?
I do. I think if you give them an extra incentive, I think there's something about it's like when Doc Rivers took cash from everybody, from the Celtics, put it in a bag, hit it in the Staples Center ceiling, and said, "If you guys want this cash, we got to come back for Game 7 and get it." Come back, won the championship, got their cash back.
And you think it's because of the cash?
I don't think it's all of it. I think that
Without the cash,
motivation.
they would have lost that game.
What's the point of a coach then without motivation?
Well, to watch the game objectively outside of all of the players and then be able to say, hey, this is what I see strategically. I think if we run this that we ran in practice or whatever, I think that we're going to have a higher success rate in this game in the long term.
But I do think
I
motivation
don't think
is a
they're
big
just
key.
like, the shit they show you on TV.
I know.
I mean, makes you think like, oh, I could easily be an NBA coach then. They say
way.
the most obvious bullshit, but like what they're
Gotta
actually
get back on defense.
But
We gotta
they-
rebound.
yeah,
You got to
but-
move in transition.
yeah, but they're not showing the actual like X's and O's because the
Right.
regular public doesn't want to fucking see that. They want to see like, you gotta get a rebound.
It would be great to have a like throughout the season series Netflix. Well, Hulu has live sports. To have like
Right.
you follow the Celtics and like you're at practice every day. You tune in. So it was like a master class. I think that'd be really cool.
That would be cool.
But you're also
Does that
telling
not
me.
exist?
But you're also telling me that you like these guys did not want to hit Juju and beat the Steelers.
Oh, I know
more?
they did that. Yeah, that I think did. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
They
true.
gave them
so,
more
To
motivation.
your point. Never mind. You've won that round. I'm saving my wins for the LeBron portion. Okay, but for the NBA, I mean, we're talking about the NBA here. NBA All-Star Game just happened. You didn't watch, did you?
Highlights.
Me and Chris.
watched.
Me and Chris went on a Zoom.
Yeah.
We went on a Zoom, and we watched the entire
He was here. I
thing.
was in Pittsburgh, and we zoomed on the computer while we watched it together. But
Yeah, and I recorded the entire thing. I've got the clips, dude.
tell him how he
I
had
can
to,
use it as blackmail later. He didn't know I was recording.
tell him how he had to rig it though. You were way behind me.
Oh yeah. So I was because I illegally stream all games. So I don't.
There's a delay built into that.
There's a delay built in that. I couldn't possibly pay the extra whatever $50 for Hulu Live Sports a month. First half basically. I mean, we watched the entire 3-point dunk
contest was
skills,
halftime.
and then the half. So the entire time
was good.
he was like, telling me what was going on. But then once Nicole, Chris's fiance, went to bed, then he went out and then he paused it.
Yeah.
And then
Unless you
I
kinda
told you,
link,
like,
and then bam,
there
go.
we go.
So we did jerry rig it a little bit.
So, what were your thoughts on the NBA All-Star game? Do you think there would have been a difference?
Yes,
if Joel,
already, yes.
if Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons played, or they would have just beat their ass still.
I still think they would. I think it would have been a lot closer if LeBron was missing Ben Simmons, and then Durant's team was obviously missing Durant and Embiid. So
Ben
those
Simmons
are
was on LeBron's.
Ben Simmons on LeBron's team.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, they would have got their ass beat still.
They still got their SB, but with Kevin Durant and
Oh yeah,
Joel, right?
You know, those games don't mean anything until, and I love the setup at the end.
Amazing.
Love the setup at the end,
Should
but
never go back to anything else.
no. And well, you explain what, because there's probably people listening that actually don't know anything about NBA. So how is the All-Star game ending set up?
So the way they set it up was, every quarter, whoever wins the quarter, each team had a charity they were sponsoring. I think last year. This year it was they were sponsoring an HBCU, or historically black college and university.
Historically back college.
Black college and university. So if LeBron's team wins quarter one, then they get $150,000 to whatever college they're sponsoring, and vice versa if Durant's team wins. So
Yeah.
at the end of the first quarter, whoever wins, they get that money. They reset the scores, but they still keep tallying the scores on the side, but they reset it. Again, quarter two, whoever wins that quarter gets the money. Quarter three, whoever wins that quarter gets the money. Now, when quarter four starts, they add up what the scores were and they put it up. And, LeBron's team was, I think, up 20 or something like that. What they do is they take the team who's leading, right? So if LeBron's team had, for say, 100 for easy math, they add 24 points to that because they were honoring Kobe Bryant as well.
Yeah.
So they add 24 points. So then they're playing to 124 now. And if LeBron's team was up by 20, it was 100 to 80, and they're playing to 124.
Yeah.
Right. So
So
hopefully,
you get
the last year it was a lot closer.
Yeah.
This year it was kind of a blowout. So, it was the game was kind of over and you knew. But last year when it was like, 100-98 and now they're playing at 24, like now it's anyone's game. And it's great because you take out all the time. I mean, the shot clock obviously is still in play, but take out the time, you take out that, you're literally just like playing backyard ball to a certain score.
Yeah. And so you got that?
And people have to play defense in that situation too, because you just, it's as much about point denial as just offensive.
Because you're not trying to run
expertise.
Clock. You got to like, every point matters.
Yeah, every point matters.
And
I like that.
Great.
Okay, so the question is, I think that should be applied to every single NBA basketball game.
You play to a number?
You play to in the fourth quarter. You play to a number. I think it'd be more exciting,
It would be more exciting for sure.
or at least playoff basketball.
It would
How
be
about
more
that? How about that?
exciting. But that would be, I think that would be tough to.
And you've still totaled the first 3 quarters points.
You still total it, yeah.
But then instead of the fourth quarter, you playing 12 minutes of a fourth quarter, you're just playing to
A number.
24 points higher than whoever's winning.
Yeah, I think that, dude.
Be a nice way to shake it up.
And they would get really intense. I mean, dude, playoff basketball is already
I can't
intense.
imagine. Yeah.
So that would just be super intense.
It would take a lot of that, the hacking fouls, the, just grab them, just slash them, free throws, take it back, get it up like court. It would just be, you'd be targeting that score. So I think all those like kind of stuff that we don't really like to watch with fouling
Let's take this.
would be really nice.
What if the NFL does this? Tally up the first 3 scores and then you add whatever the fourth quarter, no time.
Can't do in the NFL just because of the injury factor.
Because you think it would take longer.
Yeah, it would take longer, and the NFL is too brutal. I mean, the
NFL
NBA
is brutal.
I
It's
mean,
a little too
you can get
punishing.
injured in the NBA, but it's like, okay, well, come on.
NFL is
or
brutal.
just the championship,
I'd like to see like
just the
Test it out.
elimination game.
Listen, Adam Silver, test it on the G League. Let us
I
know
was
how it
just gonna
goes.
say, test in the G League. Or did you see what the NBA is doing with this? What is it? The like 13 to 18-year-olds or 13 to 16-year-olds can get like a salary of 150,000. I didn't see all the details on that, Chris.
Yeah.
What's that about?
You can decide, the whole going back and forth of, can you go to the NBA from high school? Previously they could, right? Kobe, LeBron,
Yeah.
Kwame Brown,
Kwame.
all high school. Right now they changed it that you have to have 1 year removed from high school. So it doesn't mean you have to go to college, but what else is everybody going to do? So everybody historically has gone to college. That's why you got a lot of one and dones. But now they've changed it to the G League where they're going to start offering these kids salaries if they, don't want to. So some kids, RJ Hampton went to Australia for his 1 year. So he's playing professional in Australia, making money. LaMelo did that last year, right? Now he's got obviously a whole different backstory, but you're making money for your 1 year until you go to the NBA instead of being at college where you're not making any money.
Right.
So now so that was a big thing. Some players had gone, overseas to do that, but most people still pick college. Now what the colleges are worried about is that the G League is saying, I don't know what the exact money number is, but $150,000 to $500,000, somewhere in that range is what they're paying these guys to play one season before they go to the NBA. And, for the kids, they're like, oh, this is great because one, I get to make money. 2, you're playing against you're playing against like grown men in the G League instead of playing against other freshmen, sophomores in college. So now there's other good college teams, but you're playing again, grown men basketball, right? It's a lot different.
Yeah.
So, the experience is there. And then, I think the NBA scouts like it because now you can evaluate these kids against, some Weber State guys.
Definitely.
I mean, shout out Damian Lillard, but they're slaughtering these other bad teams where like maybe the talent's not as good now, but they're playing every night against grown men, NBA coaching stuff, schemes like that. So
Does the G League make money or is it just trickle down from the NBA?
probably both. I mean, the G League makes money because, you still sell tickets. Now, obviously not in COVID times, but you still sell tickets. You still sell this. I think they probably have some TV stuff that's on. I mean, they obviously...
They're actually kind of fun games. I watched a couple.
I mean, right. It's very athletic people playing basketball.
Yeah.
It's not the NBA, but it's still very athletic people playing basketball, and it's fun. I mean, the players don't make the salaries NBA players make, so they obviously aren't. The G League's not making it, but I bet there's some probably trickle down from the NBA because like each team has their own G League team.
Yeah. And if you're one of these guys, one of these prospects that wants to make that kind of money, like if you can make $150K, why not? You can
Why
go
not?
to college
Right.
afterwards, right?
Absolutely.
Or some kids, right? Like they don't care about school at all.
Yeah.
So, they're going to go to college and they're only going to college to play basketball. They don't care about school. Like,
Yeah,
I think
I mean, those guys for sure. But I
think
mean, like,
Greg
even if you
Oden-
did want to go to college, you could be like, well, I can play here, and then if I make the NBA, then I can always like go back to college.
I think it's great. I mean, we had a great, kind of back and forth in the Texas episodes about how, we allow 17, 18-year-olds to sign over hundreds of thousands of dollars in student debt, but we don't think they're informed enough to make a decision about whether or not they want to sign up for $150K or $500K salary and make that calculus about going to college for a year. I think it makes perfect sense. Give them an option, let people decide.
Yeah, makes sense to me. I would do it. You mentioned Damian Lillard. I thought that and now tying it back in the NBA All-Star game, I think Damian Lillard has a problem. Not a healthy competitive issue with Steph Curry.
I think Damian Lillard's my favorite player in the NBA.
Oh, like
I love Damian
he can't
Lillard.
see it as fun.
I think Damian Lillard's probably looking at Steph being like, if the situations were reversed, dude. Like, I don't think Damian Lillard thinks Steph Curry's better than him at all. Right?
Maybe not.
And so I think he thinks in his mind, he is highly underrated and
Like, what if you
disrespected.
switch their teams?
Yeah. Damian
Switch
Lillard
their
probably
careers.
thinks, dude, if I was in your
Career
place,
track.
yeah, I would have won the exact same amount. And he doesn't get the recognition. And he wasn't chosen as an all-star starter.
Does Dame have the Jordan gene?
Dame is...
I love Damian Lillard. Steph Curry's
he
better.
made like 3 half-court shots at the end of the All-Star game.
I mean, Damian
and no
Lillard.
one does that unless they're trying to prove something
I'm
to everyone,
better.
right?
I'm better.
Because Steph had just made a couple.
Yeah.
So Dame's like, well, I got to make 3 then, right? And he did.
And he did it.
Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of a...
I think so too. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I would love to see, Dame in a better I mean, and I don't want to say Portland's a bad situation, but they're in that kind of purgatory, where they're like, the 3rd through 7th seed always in the West. So you're never getting good draft picks, but you're never quite there to get over the better team, right?
Yeah.
So I would love to see, Portland get another star. Now, CJ's a great player, right? I was the best ever guard him in high school. Melo is a little bit past his
you
prime.
guarded CJ, didn't you?
A little bit past his prime. Nurkic.
How many
Nurkic
points
is
did
good.
CJ score that game?
Probably none.
Probably
none.
0.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Can
I
we
blacked
pull this
it
up?
out.
Is this researchable?
Yeah.
Luckily, no.
Which year was that, Chris?
CJ McCollum scored how many points? It was over 20.
Probably. but then, so what I'm saying is that I would love to see Portland getting another person to help them. If LaMarcus Aldridge had never left, would be awesome. Or,
Yeah, if LaMarcus Aldridge never left the Bulls, that would have been awesome.
oh gosh, then we'd be talking a different story.
The Bulls had to have Tyrese Thomas. Had to have him. Must have him.
And that guy could jump out of the gym.
Okay. Anyways,
Or,
yeah, you're
I was
gonna
saying,
make the point.
or Damian on another team. Because
Yeah.
then you're right, then you see. Because but
Who could he go to? Who could Damian theoretically go to?
The Bulls.
Well,
But
well,
actually,
yeah, but never gonna happen.
the Lakers? I mean, I don't think it could, but if you had him, LeBron, and AD,
That would be wild.
it'd be a wild team.
oh my God.
When's
he
AD
went
come
to-
back?
A couple weeks probably.
Okay.
If he went to, I would have said Denver, but I like Jamal Murray a lot too.
Oh, Jamal Murray's the shit.
But what if you put Damian 1, Jamal Murray 2?
Could he go to Phoenix?
Then you got a CJ McCollum sitch.
Chris Paul's there though.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Chris Paul's dope.
That's right.
Chris Paul is amazing.
Clippers.
Chris Paul's another guy that just gets no. I mean, in
Yeah.
NBA circles he does, but it's like everywhere that guy goes, they're like immediately way.
Yeah.
He was on OKC last year, and they fucking suck.
Yeah.
And they went to the playoffs, and were given problems to who was that in the bubble?
Oh,
Who are they giving problems to?
a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, my point is, Chris Paul's the fucking
He's really
man.
Chris Paul's amazing.
Yeah.
That's another guy I would love. They're doing well in Phoenix, but Chris Paul and the Lakers with AD and LeBron. Or, like
What's
I said,
the-
these
what's
two
the-
guys on the Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George and Damian Lillard
That would be good.
would be nice.
What's the can you look up Phoenix's odds to win the championship? And then I'm gonna text Doggy Juice afterwards.
What if you put Damian Lillard on the Celtics with instead of Kemba, with Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum?
You hate Kemba. I love Kemba. I think
But he's not Damian Lillard.
not Damian Lillard, but it's like I just think it's like marginally like the like if you took the stats, right? Obviously, Damian in a big game is way better. But if you just took the stats, it's just such a marginal difference.
But Kemba this year is way off of what he was last year.
Oh, he is? I've been watching a lot of Celtics basketball. Again, I watch every single Bulls game, okay?
As you should.
As I should.
Phoenix odds to win the finals?
Yeah.
33-1.
Oh, I might have to take some heat on that one.
33-1, Doggy Juice.
I might have to put a unit on
Put
that
a unit
one.
on that
Yeah.
one for sure.
At Doggy Juice, what do you
That
have to
would
say?
not be bad.
I'm gonna do that.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put like 500 on that.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
33-1, Phoenix.
Yeah, and I think they could. Just because Chris Paul
could.
is such a general.
They
right?
could.
They could.
I don't think they will.
They won't.
They won't.
Well, that's why they're 33-1.
Yeah.
But dude, we saw what happened with the Heat. Anything's
What are the Bulls
possible now.
odds? What are the Bulls odds?
The the Bulls just lost. They didn't have Joel and Ben Simmons last night, and the Bulls lost by 20 to the Sixers.
Any guesses?
And Laurie Markkinen was back, and I think he like hit
They're
7
slow
threes.
playing. They're slow playing them.
500-1.
Ooh,
Chicago
I might
Bulls.
have to put 500 on that.
How did Adam win $250,000?
Yeah.
Oh, he put 500-1 on the Bulls.
Dude, you never underestimate Billy Ball. It takes a little marination.
Now, what are the odds Bulls win the championship and Wendell Carter's the MVP?
Oh, a million.
That's,
to
Million to
one.
one.
there's
That
not a
guy's
computational
trash.
algorithm for that.
That guy, Jokic made him look like he was fucking Muggsy Bogues.
That's dividing by infinity. It just
Yeah.
goes to 0.
The drunk white Russian or whoever the fuck he
But
is
Jokic is so good.
on Denver made Wendell Carter look like he had never played basketball in his life. What did he score? Like almost 50. And then that was
He
right.
dropped 40.
That was right after Joel dropped 50
Yeah.
on the fucking Bulls.
Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
literally that week.
And then I see all the Bulls chatter, like, well, you know, they're asking about Andre Drummond, and like I'm on these Bulls groups, and they're like, what? Why? And I'm like, did you fucking watch the games? I mean,
Yeah.
Joel Embiid and the drunk Polish man ate our cookies.
Dzień dobry.
I don't know how that guy's good. You watch Jokic, and it's like, okay, wait a second. He's super slow. He can't jump.
He might be blind in one eye.
He's going to drop 50 on you.
He's good.
He's in the MVP
He's
runnings.
good.
What's his? Can we look up MVP?
MVP odds?
MVP odds.
Yeah.
Because I think Jokic is in the running and would probably be
Yes.
like 40-1 too.
I bet you the top three are, in no particular order, LeBron, Embiid, Jokic.
And who would you take? I would take Embiid.
Embiid.
I would take Embiid.
Embiid.
Well, no, dude. Top 3 Jokic. I think Giannis is top 3.
Top 3, Joel Embiid,
Yeah.
plus 190. LeBron James, plus 260.
Here it is.
Jokic, 480.
Jokic. There it
Jokic.
is. I knew it.
Steph Curry's at 412, plus 1,200. Hey,
Wait, no. That's like way off then.
Top MVP contenders.
Steph Curry is above Giannis?
So he
That doesn't make any sense.
he jumped after the All-Star game.
That's so stupid.
He jumped up to
Giannis,
the-
if Milwaukee goes on a 10-game winning streak, Giannis is averaging 29 a
Then
game.
The stats will be updated.
But
They're not currently.
Do it now.
So ActionNetwork.com has Joel Embiid, LeBron, Nikola, Luka, Steph,
Luka, no
Giannis.
way.
then Dame.
Then Dame. No, that's not going to happen.
Where
either.
is Wendell Carter?
Harden's right there. Harden's right
What's-
underneath Dame.
But what's Harden doing?
He's doing good.
He's balling
He's
out.
the only one playing on the Nets.
He's balling out.
But I mean, will he ever win a championship?
This year, yes.
You think they're going to win the championship?
I think the Nets will win the championship.
What
this
about Phoenix, dude? We just gave
33
up
I'm
on
gonna
Phoenix.
root for- I'm going to root for everybody over the Nets. Believe me, I don't want the Nets to win, but I find it hard. The NBA is like this, right? Because this 7-game series, right? They don't play the best defense, so they can be beat by. I mean, the Cavs beat the Nets twice this year, and the Cavs are terrible, but they can be beat.
I haven't watched a lot of Cavs basketball.
I have.
I have.
They can.
And
be,
I will.
They can be beat, but they're not going to get beat in a 7-game series. You're not going to beat them 4 times before they beat you 4 times with KD.
Have you watched Nets basketball?
Some,
They're
Not every
not
game.
they're not that great, dude.
but they can score with anybody, and that's what you need in the
Well,
playoffs.
if they all play together,
And they will in the playoffs. Well,
you can't just put it together. You're the one who's always talking about,
that's
it
true.
takes the time to gel, dude.
It definitely takes time to gel, but when you have, 4 amazing scores, or 3 amazing
Well, okay.
scores. Sorry,
Oh,
3
here we
amazing
go.
scores.
Blake
I didn't
Griffin,
say
dude.
Freddie. No, Blake Griffin's good pickup.
Blake Griffin's pasta and Jeff Green's better than Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin's good pickup, but
Not a good pickup.
I think he's a great pickup.
Have you watched Detroit basketball?
Who did you want them to pick up?
No one. Jeff Green was doing a fine job.
They got Blake Griffin for nobody. Why would you not pick him up?
because he's gonna fuck with the team chemistry.
I don't think so.
You're gonna have to start him. He's gonna be a liability. He
don't
can't
have to
jump.
start him.
He's had 9 surgeries. You're thinking, dude. This is the problem.
You're living in the past,
You're
Chris.
living in the past. You got to move forward. Okay.
This is our concern, dude.
This is our concern, dude.
Let's do another podcast in June when this is all coming to fruition.
Well, I would love you to come back for a little bit at NBA basketball, dude.
Love that.
I will say this though.
What are the odds Blake Griffin wins MVP?
That's not even calculable.
That's not even in there.
I mean,
Sportsbook don't take that bet.
I will say though, given and
That's our concern, dude.
I love you, Adam, but your calls this year have just been abysmal.
I will say.
What am I supposed to not stop making calls?
Your
I will
calls
say,
have just
I
been
definitely
abysmal.
am one of the listeners every week, along with Travis. Shout out to Travis
and a bunch
and
of
our
16
moms. And our
and
moms.
well and Robin Sport
Hi,
and
Robin.
a bunch of 16 and 18 year olds.
Yeah, hi Robin. Shout out.
Yeah, Robin
Okay.
Sport watches
But
every episode.
I was gonna say,
She's like, oh my god, that throat baby. I just don't know what these people are doing anymore.
My mom usually asks if we need to use so many curse words, and I say absolutely.
Well, you never use curse words.
We,
the
royal
why
we.
does Adam need to use so many
The
The royal
royal we.
we. Okay. What were you gonna say?
Oh, this Camus is good.
I have no idea. What were we talking about?
How the Phoenix Suns are going to win the NBA championship? No,
Yeah.
no,
no,
wait,
coming
no.
back in June.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I was saying, I'm one of. I listen every week because I usually listen when I'm working out because I love it. But every week I listen to like what you're like. Oh, I'm going to pick this as the Super Bowl winner. I'm going to pick this as my playoff winner. I like this. I'm like,
I've been off this year.
I'm going to go somewhere
This
else.
has been an off year.
It's been an off year.
This has been an off
He
year.
liked the Bills and Packers for the Super Bowl.
I did like the
I
Bills and
like that
Packers.
Turns out it was
too.
the bucket. Turns out it was the Buccaneers
I
and
like
the
that call
Chiefs.
too.
Yeah,
He liked the Chiefs to win it all. Turns out it was the
I like
Buccaneers.
McGregor.
He liked McGregor.
And he likes
And I like the Phoenix Suns.
for the
No,
NBA.
okay. You want to hear my...
People in Phoenix are just hitting their faces
No.
Damn
right
it,
now.
he's cursed us.
No. You want to hear my NBA pick, dude?
100%.
I got the Philadelphia 76ers playing the... You can't go against LeBron. Philadelphia and 76ers against the LA Lakers. Anthony Davis comes back. They're unbeatable.
That's the final.
I think it's Nets Lakers.
When do the Nets lose in your scenario, Adam?
Well, it depends on seeding, obviously.
True.
So I would have to take another look, dude.
I think it's Nets Lakers. I think the Lakers. I think people are people love Utah, Denver, Phoenix right now. I think people are sleeping on the Clippers a little bit. Clippers
They're
are still a good
sleeping-
team who had all the hype last year and obviously shit the bed a little bit in the bubble.
So you believe in playoff P?
I believe Paul George is a very good player. Now will
Well, that
they?
wasn't the question, dude. You believe in playoff P? Because
I
Paul
don't.
George
That's
is
the thing.
Paul George is a good player.
That's the thing. Now I do believe Paul George will figure it out, and Kawhi, and I like Ibaka. I like they still got Lou Williams.
Lost Montreal.
They lost. That's a big loss.
Big loss.
I think Ibaka helps make up for it, but he's not Montreal.
No.
Or yeah.
Okay, so covered that. Who's your pick
Montrez.
to win? So it's Montrez.
Montrez Harrell.
Montrez Harrell.
Yeah.
Well, when you
I
know
think it's Montrezl.
Well,
I think there's an L at the end
yeah,
of it, but it's silent.
Well, I've been hanging out with Snoop Dogg too, though. It's Montrezl.
Montrezl. It's like dumb, but the B is silent.
So you have the Nets winning.
I think the Nets will win.
Okay, and
I think the Nets will be hard to beat in four
got
games.
it. I have the 76ers winning. I think the 76ers make a move. I don't know who it's for.
Now, see, these can be
Damian
updated, though.
By the way, Damian Lillard could be a Sixer, dude.
That would be incredible. And you move Ben Simmons over to yeah.
yeah.
That if it was Damian, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Embiid, and they kept that core together with Doc Rivers, I would then pick them to beat the Nets.
Would you pick them if they got Kyle Lowry?
No,
Really?
really.
Oh, I would still pick them if
Do you believe in playoff Kyle Lowry?
I believe that their defense is nasty, and I believe in Joel. So They have the guy to go to
Correct.
at the end of games, which
Correct.
is Joel Embiid. And Ben Simmons has committed himself to defense. And I believe in Kyle Lowry to make a few shots. Tobias Harris.
Sure. I don't think they beat the Nets, though.
Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Just like your opinion.
Because here's the secret weapon. When the Nets get down and it's like, game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Steve Nash suits up.
Steve Nash shoots up.
Comes
Boy,
out
oh
of the
boy.
cryo chamber.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Actually, you know what? That would be the only positive coming out of the Nets winning is Steve Nash would get credit because the whole thing about
Yeah.
Steve Nash getting hired was like bullshit. I think that would be the positive, even though the whole negative of all of those assholes winning a
Yeah.
championship.
That'd be the nice part.
Just a smug look on KD's face and Kyrie's face.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So I would rather see that than LeBron winning.
I think if AD comes back well, the Lakers win.
You do. Okay, so there we go.
The Lakers win.
We'll come back to this cast. We'll see. I obviously have the dark horse. Per usual.
I think the Lakers need to make another move. Right? You got 2 go-to guys right now. They got some good pieces around them, right? Montrez is a good piece.
Got to start planning for the future. though.
Montrezl.
I think Dennis Schroeder's a good piece, right?
Dennis Schroeder.
But I think they need to make, whether
Dennis
it's
Schroeder is an upgrade or a downgrade from Rajon.
he's an upgrade offensively, downgrade defensively in IQ. Rondo's so smart.
Yeah, very good.
So
Very
smart,
good IQ.
especially in the
So
playoffs.
who do they need to get?
I have heard DeMar DeRozan, I think would be a good one.
Oh God, I haven't thought about that guy in a long time.
Wow, me either.
but the Spurs are doing okay, right?
They're okay. They're like the 7th seed, I think.
Okay.
But I think LaMarcus Aldridge is going to get traded or bought out, so that he's gone. I think the Spurs are about to start dropping towards the end of the season because Golden State's in that 9 spot. You got to think they'll come up some. I think I heard DeMar DeRozan. If they could pry Bradley Beal away, I don't think that would happen. That would be wild.
What
But I
about prying
think
Zach LaVine away?
PJ Tucker, Zach LaVine would be good on the Lakers.
PJ, I like that call.
PJ Tucker, he's not a star, but he's a nice 3-and-D wing player, right? Because you need guys who are going to guard wings on the Clippers and wings on the Nets if that's who you're going to play.
They're not going to pry. Oh, what are they offering?
Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
right.
Rings. That's all they can possibly
knows?
offer with.
No.
LeBron.
What are they going to offer
it's
to
gonna
the
be-
Bulls to
Oh,
get
yeah.
Zach
It's going to
LaVine
be
away?
right. It's not going to be Zach LaVine. It's going to be someone in the buyout contract, like Andre Drummond.
Well,
Even though
Zach
I don't-
LaVine might go to the Lakers just to get away from stalker chicks.
You might have to.
I mean, you'd have to. I mean, she knows where he lives. Zach LaVine, yeah. So those who don't know, Zach LaVine had a stalker show up at his house. Got on a plane.
This happens to these guys all the time.
Got on a plane. She didn't during the flight. Didn't change her mind.
And she had, to be clear, hours to think about it.
still wanted to do it.
Still wanted to do it.
Said, pour me another
And did
round,
it.
stewardess. Let's go.
Said, okay, I'm gonna do that, right? And showed up, dude. That's kind of scary.
It's scary.
You got to admire
Now-
the commitment.
But
Now,
that's
you
the-
know someone that showed up. Speaking of my Phoenix Suns,
Oh, yeah.
Devin Booker's place,
Yeah.
right?
I know someone who purchased Devin Booker's home in Phoenix, Arizona recently. This is, I think, last October. And one of the original nights when the family was moving into this home, the security cameras start going off, and there's a young female individual climbing multiple gates to get into the compound, to get to the home, pounding on the door, calling for Devin Booker.
Good sound effect.
This family member's dad opens up the door and is like, "We bought the house. What do you want?"
Yeah.
And she was hopping the fences to get there, which is crazy because if she just turned on TMZ, she could have seen that he was with Jenner, one of them.
So she's obviously crazy.
Heller.
So she's obviously crazy, but where is she on the crazy hot scale?
That's true.
I don't know.
You didn't ask about her
On the
hotness.
foot. It didn't seem appropriate. I was.
It didn't seem appropriate at the time. Well, she had to be smoking hot.
Have to be.
Well, yeah, dude, because the crazy hot
She's
scale
jumping
is that the
fences.
hotter they get, the crazier
jumping
they are.
Devin Booker
fences,
didn't get with her.
Chris.
He wasn't even living there anymore. She
No,
could have been really
that's
ugly
true.
and really
That's
crazy
true.
and still jump a fence.
That's true. There's crazy ugly girls. Valid point. I'm giving you another
Valid point.
I'm giving you another W on this one.
2-0, 2-0.
Throwing you softballs.
Hey man, it's a 7-game series.
That's true.
Any crazy girlfriend stories? Did you ever have a situation where you thought, I'm afraid of
I'm in
this.
danger.
I'm not even a day. I'm afraid of this person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to expand?
I'd rather not.
You don't have to say a name.
I'd rather not. But it was in
still afraid?
It was in high school where you're
still afraid.
Still afraid. It was in high school when your emotions are at like level 100, your hormones are at level 100, and in high school you don't really have everything figured out on like how to get with somebody, how to like date somebody, how to break up with somebody. So the lines are very blurred at this point in life.
Yeah.
Hormones level 10. Some people start discovering alcohol. It's just a disaster stew.
Yeah.
Woke up one night to
Hashtag disaster.
Hashtag disaster stew. Sunday punch. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Woke
That's
up,
going on a t-shirt.
woke up to the window outside of my bedroom getting like pounded on, and a certain individual was out there, oddly enough, with a butter knife, threatening to harm themselves. Because
With a butter knife.
because of not being together
Wait, yeah.
anymore. I
That's
think it was
it.
a butter knife, but I was just
She was
waking
serious, but she wasn't too
up.
serious.
I had a calculus test the next morning, so I was
That's
naturally
it,
terrified.
Sean. If you don't come out here, I'm definitely gonna spread marmalade on myself.
What?
She wanted to show she was serious, but not too serious.
And it was like, is this what you want? Like with self-harm? I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Like, no, this is not what I want.
Yeah.
And ran off into the night. I don't know what happened, but she was at school the next day.
Like woods.
Yeah.
Just ran off into woods.
She was at school the next day and
Like the
never
witch.
spoke of it again.
Just oh, there she go. Oh, okay. That's it. She flies.
So I'm watering down a lot of details here, but I mean, when you're 17 and you got a calculus test the next day, I mean, that's a big experience.
yeah,
That is a big experience.
I can't say I've ever had
What'd you
that.
score in the test, and did that affect your performance?
Don't remember that test exactly, but AP test went well.
Okay, good, fantastic.
Got out of it for college.
Any crazy? Any females?
Nothing where I was like, I mean, it's craziness. But I mean, I think every girl's got some craziness.
Okay.
But I never anything where I was afraid for my well-being or her well-being.
I was worried.
Well,
I'm a worrier though.
I'll go ahead
worry.
and say I'll go ahead and put a name on it.
Oh,
I don't
was-
have those.
I was-
I don't have those waivos, Adam.
Yeah, I was hooking up with Sarah Eaton, and Travis can attest to this. And Travis, our good buddy, dated Sarah Eaton at UF. And so after I graduated, I don't know how we came to meet again, but we were at a bar
Reconnect.
or whatever. She saw me, blur, blur, blur. So I actually texted
Blur, blur,
blur,
blur.
blur.
Blending over a lot.
Yeah,
Of
exactly.
blur.
You know, I talked to her, blah, blah, blah. I was making jokes. She was laughing. And so then I went home. I texted Travis. I'm like, yo, do you care if I get with Sarah? He's like, no, I don't give a fuck, dude. So I'm realizing I could get in trouble now. Anyways, so
it's already said the name. Brian, clip it out.
Clip it.
no, do not clip it. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit more politically correct here. Travis said, "No, dude, I am obviously happily in love with Erica Ackerman, and I love her, dude, and that's that. Okay, so why don't you stop calling me about other girls that obviously I don't care about at all." So that's what Travis said, and then I,
Good call, Trav.
I started hooking up with her. Now I should have noticed the warning signs.
Oh, because
When-
there are warning signs.
When she showed up unannounced at the door for a drop-in,
Little pop it.
little pop-in.
Just see what's going on.
Yeah,
Time of day.
yeah. Like 2 p.m.
Middle of the
11.
day.
Middle of the day.
Pop it. Middle of the day. All
A
right.
middle of the day pop-in. And
This is getting good.
well, I overlooked it because she was wearing something very sexual, and
It's called an afternoon delight.
and that led to something very sexual and very sexual. And so that was awesome. But this should have noticed the first part where she showed up unannounced.
Well, you were bamboozled.
I was bamboozled.
Hashtag disaster stew.
Hashtag disaster stew. And so that should have been the first warning sign, right? So then, like, as I do, got bored. And, it kind of fizzled out. And then she, like, said, you know what, she, like, was like, called me. She's like, you're never going to amount to anything. God, I'm going to fucking, like, kill you, blah, blah, blah. Like, next time I see you, you're dead, blah, blah.
What?
And so I was like, okay.
So I've just been threatened.
But like, I was like, Sarah, come on. Let's be honest. Like, it's just fizzled, right? And then I ended it, and I should have been more scared at the time, but I just kind of moved on. I moved forward, and I never saw her again. I think she lives in like Switzerland now.
So,
But she threatened my life.
but like Geneva Court.
And so I should have connected those two things of she threatened my life and she showed up unannounced. She could show up unannounced and threaten my life,
Yeah.
but I didn't. I didn't.
Last scene in Switzerland trying to climb the fence of Roger Federer's house.
That's right.
Oh,
That's where it ends.
Roger Federer.